Hey everyone, Trevor Daly with MagMod. Hey, I am excited. We have another How I Shot It. You know how much I love these. It's a great opportunity to learn from incredible photographers out there. And today I have Mr. Edwin Colon. Edwin, thanks for joining me today.
Thank you for having me today, Trevor.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Edwin, I know you're based out of Tampa, Florida. Is that right?
Yeah, we're here in Tampa Bay area in Florida, so I love it here, but I'm originally from Puerto Rico.
Tell everyone where to find you before we jump into these incredible photos that I can't wait to show people.
Yeah, I'm mainly active on Instagram. That's where I post a lot of the reels.
Mhm.
I do have TikTok, Facebook, and also my website, Edwin Colon Photography.
I want to show everyone real quick your Instagram because I think something that's really interesting about your work is we've done a lot of wedding photographers here on the show. What's really interesting about your work is how you have a lot of these what we call quinceañeras, right? Um,
Yes.
for those who might not be familiar, can you tell them what a quinceañera is?
So Quinceañeras is celebrating a milestone when usually on here in the US we celebrate the 16th, but in other countries they celebrate the 15th.
What would you say is like your percentage of weddings versus quinceañeras?
So for the quinces, I'd say about 80% of my work are quinces. A lot of networking
Yeah.
involved. So a dress shop, if you kind of want to get into the quince world, you get with that dress shop and tell them, hey, I want to collab with you. And that's how I've been kind of growing on that side. As a father of three, um, I have a 21-year-old and just letting the girls know what the real meaning is to me is like the most important part about it and seeing the parents' reaction when they see like the images or we educate them on what a quince is. They're like, wow, this is this is what we want to hire you. I love if you've seen some of the videos I might have posted me with my cowboy hat, my cowboy outfit, cowboy boots. My wife was like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "I have to fit in. I have to make them feel, special." So we have a good time every time we go out there.
Guys, if you haven't, go check out Edwin Cologne underscore photography and give him a follow. Like I said, he has incredible work. But what I love is you also post a lot of these reels where you actually show behind the scenes. All right, cool. So let's jump right into these images. So I'm going to go ahead and open this up and allow you to talk about this amazing photo right here. Tell us about this one.
Okay, so this image, this is one of the locations. Actually, yesterday we were supposed to shoot at this location, but we got rained out. Um, this is in Lakeland, Florida. It's called Hollis Gardens. Real simple setup. I use a 24 to light up the quinceañera, and then on the back I just used a gel facing upwards. I believe it was a full CTO. Um, people ask me, why do you use a full CTO? I don't know. I just like the color that it gives.
Yeah, the warmth. And that's what's interesting about this photograph is so it's basically two lights you said,
Yeah,
right?
two
It's
lights
just
setup.
that 20 it'd be interesting to see, kind of a before and after like with and without it, but I think it adds so much to the photograph. Having that gel behind it. And I think you have a reel on this one, right?
I
Can
sure
can we
do.
pull up that reel?
And
Um,
we could speak a little bit how about I do the reels. Sometimes I'll have the parents grab, I'll give them my cell phone and they'll do the recording behind the scenes. That way it kind of frees me up. I'm a one team guy. Like sometimes I'll take an assistant, but for the portrait sessions, I kind of do them on my own. Either I'll have like a tripod holding my cell phone. I believe I have a
mhm.
tripod on this one, or I'll have the parent kind of record some behind the scenes.
Not only are you doing the parent and the tripod, but did you mention earlier that you had some glasses?
Here we go. Meta glasses. If you don't know about them, photographers, I highly recommend you using the Ray-Bans. They're awesome. I wish I would have got the clear lenses, but these work pretty great. You just hit the little button here and it'll start recording for a constant minute. Quality is great. I think they work pretty good for behind the scenes.
Okay. And does it tell you like recording ended or something so that it's
You'll
like
see like a flash with your peripheral vision, so you'll be able
got it?
to kind of see.
Now, obviously, when you're shooting with those glasses, you're basically just looking at the screen shooting this way.
Yes,
You're
you
not.
can't. sometimes I catch myself going through the viewfinder. I'm like, oh, I got my glasses on. So it makes it kind of
Yeah.
hard sometimes. That's why I wish I had the clears. Then I would be able to use a viewfinder.
I think something that's important though is how would you say having those glasses, like, has it helped your business in regards to like generating new business or generating followers?
I mean, I think it does because it kind of shows up behind the scenes. And for nowadays, people want to see how you shoot. And if you could provide them like a behind the scenes prior to for them when they're doing the research, it helps, it tremendously helps the business. So
Yeah.
that's why I like using anything that could show your trait or your like your company and they'll see how you work. That's all that matters.
Yeah, I think they want to see that, hey, that person looks comfortable. I can kind of see myself in their shoes, and it seems like Edwin's a pretty outstanding dude, normal guy, or look, he likes to wear cowboy hats and dance around in cowboy boots, whatever.
Yeah.
So that's cool. I just that's one thing that really stood out to me was on your Instagram is you have lots of behind the scenes from different shoots. As we talk about these images, there's actually behind the scenes for each one of these. We'll kind of show it briefly, but I would encourage you guys again, go to Edwin Colon _photography, go check out all his reels, and you can see a lot of behind the scenes. So let's jump in. Tell us about your next image. I
Our
think
next image, I like to talk about this location. This location is actually a coworker of mine. He's a firefighter. He has a log house.
well,
I call it a log house, the Ortega's log house. Um, and pretty much, believe it or not, this is a firefighter's daughter. Another coworker who I was able to capture her images in front of their house. So it was amazing. Pretty much on this one, it was a single light. I was using 8600. It was the middle of the day with a 24, my go-to
uh,
box.
so a couple things to unwrap here. You said you like to use the 8600. Is that right?
On full day, yeah, like this. I used it for this one, the
Yeah.
600.
And do you typically shoot at like a full power on those when you're
This one was, I think it was half power.
okay?
It just depends on the
Yeah.
time because I use I try to use a higher f-stop when I'm shooting outside outdoors.
Just for the sake of those who might not be familiar, I think I have one right here actually. Um, an 8600. They're pretty big lights.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're pretty heavy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which one?
So pretty.
Oh yeah, yep, that is a 600. Yeah.
Yeah. And so you typically like to use that with you pair it with the MagBox. Is that what you said?
Yeah, with the MagBox.
And then this one here, the it looks like your light just is she looking right at the light? Like is it based it kind of off to the side there?
Yes, it's on the camera right, I believe. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
on the right side.
I love it. I think the thing that really stands out about this image is so often do we create images like this, but then our skies are completely white. And so, in order to get those skies like you have it there and be able to really show off the house and the skies and everything else while still photographing her in the shade, you got to light her up. And so, it turned out really well. Love that.
Thank you.
Hey, before we jump into the next image, you mentioned something, and I want to make sure everyone knows as well because I don't think we covered this in the intro, which is you mentioned firefighters. Your coworker, firefighter. You actually are a firefighter. Is that correct?
Yes, I am blessed. I've been there 19 years. This year will be 20 years. I started my career with Tampa Fire Rescue. Um, Now I'm at a cushy spot. I'm at the airport. So if you come to Tampa International, you want to say hello. If I'm working, would like to give you a tour of my fire station. I think we have the best toys in town. We have the big ARC trucks that look like Transformers. But yeah, I've been a firefighter for 19 years. Taking my dad's dream into he wanted to be a firefighter, but my dad, unfortunately, he could not be a fireman due to he wanted to raise our family, and we moved to from Puerto Rico here, and I was able to, bring his dream to reality. And for 19 years, I've been doing it. Uh, I'll talk about it later on. My
Okay.
daughter, is going through the process now. She's hired on with Tampa Fire Rescue, and we'll show you one of the images that I was able to capture on her graduation.
I'm amazed by those who serve, public service, and so thank you for what you're doing. And I don't know how you juggle it all, but I love what you're doing.
So
So
yeah, it could be challenging at times, but we make it happen. We work 24 hours and then we're off for 48. So on those 48 hours that we're off, that's when I try to do the photography side part of the business.
that's cool, very cool. Well, right on. Speaking of photography, let's go show us another image here.
This image, I was telling Trevor how it's important to check your gear before you take off to a photo shoot. But having mag gear, you always have something on you. I had the sphere. I left my 24 that day, and I was a little bummed out, but I was like, hey, we as photographers, we sometimes got to overcome those little challenges. And I was able to capture the whole shoot with the sphere. And they were so happy with the images that I was like, wow, maybe I should start doing that more often. Taking just the sphere. Go simple. Believe it or not, I use a 8100,
Hmm.
a little small, by Godox. I just put it on a stand. I didn't even angle it like I normally angle the light. And as you can see from behind the scenes, it was just a simple setup, the simplest setup that I ever shot in. And I think the image came out amazing.
It really did. You know what amazes me by that shot is if I go back to this, you didn't even have your stand very high up. I mean, you had it like
Nope,
6 feet or 5 feet, something like that.
5 feet
Yeah,
directly at her. It was amazing.
yeah, that's really interesting. And you know what happened is it made sure that you didn't have any strong shadows like underneath the nose. You had that just a um, yeah, straight across. It looks really good. I actually that makes me think that sometimes maybe I'm raising my stand up too high and maybe need to lower it down. And yeah. Let's go. Let's see what else you got there. Oh, this is
So
the one.
on this shot, what I love, doing this, shooting photography on the days that I'm not doing the firefighting. This was a wedding couple. They're like, man, the location is not the best location. Um, I was like, I tell them, hey, don't worry about that stuff. This is your day. We're gonna make a nice photo, something for you to remember. If you could see the behind the scenes, his reaction was like the best. He started throwing F-bombs. He's like, what the beep?
Here,
Um,
let's,
and I was like, what? I mean, it was beautiful to see his reaction after the shot.
well, before we show the behind the scenes, tell us about the light setup then.
Again, my go-to MagBox.
Hmm.
On the side was camera left. And then on the back, I wanted to show that the club Cívico Cubano was the area. So I just had a 8100 in the back and put it on. I believe I had it on the ground,
Okay.
facing towards the wall with the full CTO again.
Here, I'll show everybody here the this is pretty funny actually.
Control the lighting. We got
Let's bring this up here.
not so interesting, but we're gonna make it interesting. All right, here we go. You guys are ready? All right, 1, 2. Look at each other. Hands on each other. Hands on each other. Bro, right there. 1, 2, 3. Boom. One more. 1, 2, 3. Right there. Money shot.
It's the best when you show them down.
Oh, it's beautiful. Oh my God, it's
Right
beautiful.
on camera. It was
It's beautiful.
what the what? Hardly any editing on it. I'm sorry, guys. It is hot here in Florida, but we gotta make magic sometimes. I know what it's like. I don't know how you're gonna get these photos. This place is so ugly. We'll make some magic.
That's awesome. I love that.
Yeah, they loved it. Actually, they wanted to print it. They're like, I need this big on my wall. I was like, okay, no problem. So afterwards, we were able to print it. I think it was a 24 by 36.
That's awesome. You know,
Another friend.
one thing I noticed in that video as well as some of the other videos is you have a shirt with like your logo and kind of your branding. And you looked so good though with your suit coat and everything else, but you had that shirt with the branding that I noticed you wear. And I've seen Rafael do that, and I've seen Miguel do that. Like I've seen some of those guys do those things, Is that something that you found that has helped a lot too, just to kind of get your word out there? Because I felt like I've been needing to do something like that for a long time.
So it does help your business. I mean, if they see your logo, this is kind of what I learned from Raphael. Branding is Raphael and Miguel, both of them. Everything's branded. So once you start seeing your
Look at you're
logo,
wearing it right now.
oh yeah, represent. My wife is like, "Why are you wearing your shirt?" I want them to know who I am.
That's awesome.
So once they see your logo and see they're like, "Oh, that's this photographer," and to stand out like that is something that I learned from those guys.
Yeah.
So now.
Like I said, it's something I've thought about doing for a long time. And, it's funny. I don't even carry business cards with me, which is terrible. But I get people ask me, and the first thing I say is, I don't have any business cards, but can I go follow you on Instagram? And then you can follow me right back. And then that way we exchange information there. Or sometimes I'll even just text them. But I need to do a better job, about branding myself.
Hey, it's sometimes it's hard, life is kind of busy, so
Yeah. But it's so important. It's so important.
yes, sir. That's
Well, right on. I love that image. It's a beautiful one.
all right. On this shot, we were this was one of my coworkers again that was retiring, and I wanted to do something special, and I've been doing this for a lot of firefighters that are retiring. To me is something that they'll be able to have as a memory what they did. This guy did 30 years service, and I wanted to capture his. He was one of the drivers of the ARF truck, so I wanted to capture him in front of the truck with some. I like adding a little kiss of effect in the back, so I use spray on
Hmm.
this one. There's a reel on there. Sure, you guys could follow it later on and look at it. But pretty much I had a two light setup. I believe on this one I use the 24 again with the AD 300 because I didn't need that much light. On the back side I had a red gel and pretty much just gave it about maybe a 3 foot, maybe a five, no, about 5 to 8 feet away from the subject,
Hmm.
facing directly at me with the spray. And this, how you got that effect?
I love that. When you talk about the spray, you're referring to the atmosphere aerosol.
Yeah, the atmosphere aerosol.
Yeah.
That's what I
And
use.
then, okay, so two lights. You said the 8300. And I'm sorry, I didn't catch which modifier did you have on the 8300?
I was on the 300, I had the softbox, the 24.
The 24, your go
That's
to
for the subject, and then on the back, I just had a gel,
one gel.
nothing else.
Nice.
Yep.
Is that kind of because we've done a few images now where you've done that? I think three of the four or so that we've talked about have been kind of the same similar setup where it's a 24
Similar setup.
on gel.
I'm a simple guy, very simple, nothing crazy.
Hmm.
I've been wanting to get more in depth with, using gels and stuff, but it's a real simple setup. You don't have to think about it too much because if you start thinking about it too much, what I learned, you'll start overthinking it and you won't do it. So, one thing I did learn from Rafael and Miguel is simplicity. Just start from the back, get your gel, get the color right,
Hmm.
and then once you have that, then you light up your subject. And learning from those guys has been amazing.
That's
Um,
cool. You know
and
what though?
now able to teach other people the same skills.
I was just about to say the same thing. I mean, you've learned from them, but you've also shared so much with other people that, and even in this episode right now, just being able to share with people and make it feel achievable. Does that make sense? People see the images and they go, "Oh, I can't do something like that." But this just it feels achievable. It feels like, "Oh, I can actually do this." So,
It's real simple, guys. Just if you have the gear, which I always recommend, just go out and play.
exactly. I love that. Now, there's a couple more that went with this fireman series. Is that right?
Um, on this one, no, this
Oh,
is a
different.
different
Okay.
gentleman. This was again using the same light setup. He was retiring after 35 years of service.
Wow.
He was one of I actually got to work with him a couple times. And again, I wanted to, get back to the guys who were retiring. So I did some nice photos for him. This was a firefighter fire academy graduate. He wanted some portraits. Again, two light setup, gel in the back with the red, and then on this one I used a fog machine.
Got it.
So we were able to capture more of a, we gave it more of a dramatic look to it. I believe this kid was a model because he was giving me all these looks. I'm like, okay.
You're like, you're making my
Um,
job easy.
yeah.
That's
So his graduation photos turned out pretty good. He was super happy with them.
So let's talk about this one right here. So I see red light around him. It almost looks like you kind of washed him with a red light and then lit him up with a 24 just to kind of to kind of kill the color, but put light on his face. Is that what you did here?
Yes. So I had the light on him. I wanted to make it more like a drama type
Yeah.
shot. If you zoom in really close to his eyes,
Uh
you
huh.
can see the red pop. And I mean, this was the one he wanted for printing.
Yeah. It looks really cool. So
Yeah.
again, just to kind of explain, guys, it's basically you had one flash, washed kind of the whole scene, or at least that kind of area, and then basically to kind of kill that color on him, you just had your 24 position on him up close.
Yes, sir. Yes,
That's
sir.
so cool. Hey, can you go back to images, the one where the 35 years in front of the fire truck?
That one right there.
So is this the same setup as before, kind of just one gel behind?
Yes, one gel behind. This
Okay.
was about 3 feet or 4 feet behind him. And between the truck, and then I had somebody spray
And
with the full
what
CTO. Go ahead.
was the flash with the gel? Was it pointed towards him or was it pointed towards the truck?
Towards him.
Towards him. Okay.
Towards me. Actually, I'm facing, if you're facing the camera,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you're facing the subject, I had it flash behind him facing me.
Yeah. Okay. That's cool. And was that an orange gel? Is that what that is?
I believe it was a full CTO on that one as
Yeah.
well.
That's so cool. It just looks so classy. I just love it, and I love the smoke. It works so well. Makes me want
Yeah,
to
the
go
lighting was
go
great.
shoot some photos for our local fire department.
You should.
No, that's awesome. Very cool. Well, thanks for going back and sharing that. Those are
No
great.
problem. Uh, Now this one here, um, on this one I used, this is a three light setup. Pretty much. Some people like using multiple, I don't know how you even call it, because I'm a real simple guy. I use a 24 in the front. It's not like a composite shot where you take individual photos of the guys. Um, Two lights in the back, and then obviously some fog in between them. So these guys are the SWAT medics for Tampa Fire Rescue. They're also policemen. And they were doing something one day, and I was like, hey, listen, can I take a quick photo of you guys? They're like, sure. And this is what we were able to capture. And it came out pretty good.
Wait, so was this at night though?
This was during the day.
This was daytime. All right. So
In a
then,
parking garage. Parking garage.
okay. So, but for your flash, did you use a powerful flash, or do you remember which flash you used?
8600 on the front, and then in the back, two 100s. Full power.
Wow. You know what's
To the
impressive
back
about
power.
that is you really had to probably stop down your camera enough to bring out the color and stuff. It's kind of like if you took a flash or just a flashlight and put a color gel on it and walked it out in the sun. Oftentimes, you wouldn't be able to see anything. So you
Hmm.
really have to stop it down and make it darken your camera. And I imagine in the parking garage it
So
was.
my ISO was like 50
Uh
because
huh.
I was 87.4. I believe I I have to look at the camera details of the image, but I remember to get this effect, to get it darkened down, I exposed for the background, started with the gels again,
Yeah.
getting the color to pop through, and then a little bit of enhancing in Lightroom, because that's all I use. I don't use Photoshop. Just giving a little bit more saturation
Yeah.
helps you pop the color.
That's awesome. That's really cool. I would have never expected that was during the daytime. You know what else I love about this shot is the shadows of them coming forward. With the flashes behind. Super cool.
Yeah.
And then you mentioned the main flash on them. This is not a composite. You just did 124 overhead. Is that right?
Yes.
Wow. Did
Further
you?
back, but
Okay.
I took the diffuser off.
Got it. Got it. Got it. So it was just kind of a bare
A
softbox.
harsh light. Yeah.
Yeah. What? And you didn't have to edit it out. It was already out of the shot.
Yeah, it was already out of the shot. I was using, I believe the lens I was using was a 24 to 105 f4 lens.
Okay. That's cool, man. I love it. That's really, really cool. Again, I think you're really sticking well to that theme of like keeping it simple, yet
Simple setup.
yeah, yeah. The photos look amazing. And I want to make sure, we've talked about a few different images, guys. All of these shots. Let me actually go back to my screen here, so they can see. You have reels on all these different shots showing behind the scenes. Super cool stuff. Do we have? Yeah, we have a few more images, don't we? The baseball stuff.
Yep. Before we go to baseball, this is my daughter here. This is her graduation photos I was able to capture. On this one, I use again CTO on the back,
Uh huh.
uh, and then a 24 up front. Very simple shot. This is right next to the Fire Museum downtown. Um, and I just wanted to capture for memory, not knowing that she was going to get hired on with actual department. She graduates here soon. So here soon, I'm gonna come out with some more images from her recruit class.
That is going to be amazing. I love that she's following in your footsteps. That's so cool.
Yeah,
What did you say that she's actually going to work at the same department as you?
same fire department. Unfortunately, she can't work at my station, but we're gonna be on the same shift. Um, and I'm so happy that, at first I was a little scared that, my daughter wants to be a firefighter, but she's like, no, I want to do this. And I said, okay, I'm gonna support you in every way. And thank God. And she's doing really good.
That's
I get
awesome.
a lot of feedback from my coworkers. They're like, man, your daughter's not like you. I said, oh, she's gonna be better than me.
That's awesome.
I'm a lieutenant. I say she's gonna be a chief.
That's amazing. So, and this setup right here is the same one as before, right? One color gel
Yes, sir.
behind and 120 is a 24. Is that right?
Yep, the 24 up front, and
And
then the simple setup, just two
yeah.
lights.
And now it looks like this one was shot like after sunset. Is that correct? Is that why
Yes,
it's a little
right
bit?
at sunset.
And then one thing I want to point out again is your placement of light for those who are doing this for the first time or experimenting with light. If you feel like you're not getting that definition, the shadows and things that really make those images type, like this pop, it's because oftentimes your light is too close to the camera. Whereas Edwin here, his looks like your light was probably pushed at least 45, if not even further, right? Kind of.
Yeah, it's a little bit further back.
Yeah, and you're getting this really cool. It basically it looks like the light is kind of exactly where she's looking. So you get this really cool shadow and definition that just stands out. Absolutely love it, dude. Such a cool photo. And congrats on having your daughter join you.
Oh, thank you. We'll move over to the baseball. This was I shot this shot around five. Oh no, it was right before the time change, I believe. And single shot, not compo because I don't know how to. I wish I knew how to do the little, compose shots. I know you could get more creative. I have to kind of dig deeper into YouTube Academy. Um, but this was a single shot. Just the kids, I wanted to show them. I wanted them to show their mean look. I told them, hey guys, give me a mean look. I need you guys to be mad at the camera. So I had them pose as angry as they could for the shot. Again, one on this was, I believe, no, I had two 300s on this one.
Okay.
On There were two 24s facing them, and I was able to capture this image.
Now, one thing that stands out a lot. Well, first off, this looks like a movie poster. right? That's what it looks like to me. But one thing that stands out to me is how you were able to get light under their hats. So again, I tend to put my lights up too high, I think, when I see these images. Did you have your lights, were they lower down?
Yeah, they were lowered to kind of go directly at them.
Okay. That is so cool. I'm so used to just setting it up, going to 8 feet, 9 feet, whatever. I don't even I'm looking at this and I'm like, you probably had to have these like, I don't know, 3, 4, maybe 5 feet max in order to,
Yeah, and I was kind of far away, but I had to shoot at full power because, again, the time of day, no ND filter, none of that stuff. I just shot, I believe, at 5.6, um, and was able to capture this.
that looks awesome. So tell me, because I like how the dirt even behind them is like kind of dark. Are they being shot in the shade, or did you go in and like
Uh,
with Lightroom do some burning back there on the fill, like on
uh,
dirt?
so the to, if you see, I mean, I wish I could show you, but the sun is on the opposite end of here. If you can see, the sun was on the,
Here, let me actually. I'll pull up a whole screen of you here. There we go.
gotcha. So the sunset was on the left side of them.
Uh huh.
And if you can see, there was a couple tree lines on the back, so you see the like the shadow there.
Okay,
It's because the sun was kind of creeping behind the trees.
got it.
So for this shot, I mean, it was to me. I look at the camera. I'm like, well, wait a second. I think it's gonna be good post. I try to underexpose on when I shoot.
Hmm.
So when I go back to Lightroom, I could bring up the shadows.
Yeah. What do you remember what your aperture was in something like this?
Um, I will have to see if I hit L, right? Show you the camera settings right there.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, it shows you right there. The aperture was 7.0. I
Wow.
mean 7.1.
Okay.
And
That's
I was using the 20 to 70 f4 lens.
okay. Very, very cool. Such a cool image. And then I love the next one that accompanies it, where it's like you go from serious to this super fun. Yeah. That's so cool.
So this was the parents loved this image. I think that was the most loved image because it showed who they really are. So I told them, hey, go ahead. I need you guys to get that anger out and scream. And that's how we were able to capture this image.
That is so fun. So now, Edwin, I know, I have kids in sports and I've coached a lot of them. And every time we go do, the team photos and stuff, granted, bless their heart because it's not easy to photograph a bunch of rec league kids. This obviously wasn't like you weren't photographing a bunch of teams that day. You were just focusing on them. Is that right?
Yes, I was asked by one of the parents to come out and shoot this. This is what I want to really get into as well. I like sports photography and just portraiture in general. And I was like, this is my opportunity to kind of show out what I could do.
Yeah,
And just getting inspired by other photographers that kind of do the same thing, I was able to, go out there and perform. And the parents loved it.
yeah,
Um, from this shoot, I was able to get another team to capture some of the images. And it's like a wildfire. You pick something,
yeah,
um, and if you perform well, it's gonna spread out like a wildfire, and you're gonna be able to, you know, do more of these type of
yeah.
shoots.
That's really cool. I hope you get to do more. And this is inspiring for me too. I need to do stuff like this for my own teams. I've done it in the past, but I think as a coach, I coach soccer and stuff, and I think I've just kind of gotten lazy to it. I need to actually just go out and have some fun with this. That's really cool. I love that, man.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
And then the last image, let me see. I think, oops. This is the very last image that we're going to show today. But on this shot, this was a makeup day. This kid was not able to be on the shoot that day, so I went out back again. The parents asked me, "Hey, can you come back out and get the photos?" And I was like, "Sure." So again, this is a two light setup. I wanted to show um, team colors, so I use a yellow and a blue.
Hmm.
Um, through the day again, nothing crazy. You can see it from behind the scenes. I used a fog machine on this one. I had one of the parents kind of grab the fog machine and I say, hey, just try to get the fog right behind him, and pretty much got the shot. I'm going to show you guys the settings. Let me see if we can see the
I was
settings
just going
here.
to ask the settings because again, it almost looks like daytime, but yet you were able to darken it down.
There you go. 120, 1/50th, and then f8, ISO 80, and then 45 millimeters. That's what I shot it at.
Nice. Now I see ARW. So you're shooting Sony, is that right?
Yes, sir. I used Sony.
Nice. That's so cool. Edwin, this has been fun, man. I love looking at other people's images and just learning from them. There's the things that I'm really walking away with is that just the simple, hey, a gel and a flash, like boom, two
That's all you
lights.
need.
Yeah, keeping it really simple but yet impactful. And then like I said earlier, just a few minutes ago, I feel like I sometimes need to stop just going to that constant 8, 9 feet flash and maybe lower it down a little bit, and like that shot of the girl in the parking garage or with these kids playing baseball and stuff. I think it's important to not have really hard shadow lines going down, or and getting more of kind of just a little bit lower flash, I guess is the easiest way to put it. Just something kind of stood out.
Simple. Simple is better. Don't overwork yourself.
Yeah, that's awesome. Hey, speaking of overwork, you mentioned you do firefighter photography. Is there any processes or anything that you have kind of developed or systems that have helped you to get through and be able to do all these jobs that you're doing?
So my wave, after I do the shoot, I try to use like for events and stuff like that, I use after shoot. I'm sure
Uh-huh.
you guys know about after shoot.
Yeah.
After shoot helps, the calling and editing if you needed to. Um, so I use that for my processing, and then after that, I go into Lightroom, make minor adjustments, and pretty much from there, upload it to the gallery, and then send over the gallery to the client, depending. For Keen says I like doing the reveals. The reveals is something where you could make more money by selling products if you want to sell like albums. If you want to sell wall art, you could
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah.
For
Where
like, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say the reveals. Do you have like an office for that, or do you just have them come to your house?
I haven't come to the house. My dream is to have a studio,
Uh huh.
um, but the studio is going to be a couple years out because again, I do this part-time. I'm not a full-time photographer like a lot of the other guys are. But once I retire, wish I could retire if I wanted to this year, but I'm probably gonna do another 5 years.
Hmm.
Um, in 5 years or so, I'm thinking of having a studio so I could receive clients, where I could do my consults and I could do, the image reveals.
I love that. I mean, now that your daughter's getting into firefighter, you got to do more years. You got to be there when
Oh
she.
yeah, that's the reason why I'm staying.
That's cool. That's really cool. I think it's actually very. I'm trying to think of the right word. I think it's warming, or it feels inviting when you have people come into your house. It's kind of like saying, "Hey, you're a friend. Come sit on my couch and let's look at your photos together." So
Yeah,
there's
they
any.
become family. So most of the quinceañeras, I treat them like family, and
Yeah.
they even come after the quinces, after they done the shoot. They're like, hey, we want to do our graduation photos. We want you to capture our family moments. So
Yeah.
we become family after. You could ask any other photographer, like the guys that I follow. They're like, your clients sometimes become your family. They come out to the house and bring me gifts. I'm like, you didn't need to do this. No, you're part of family. So it's like really uh, welcoming, or like I don't know how to
Yeah.
express it. So it's like it's an honor to have them come to you and be like, man, you were able to capture those moments, but now we want to treat you like family, and we're like, oh, this is what we're here for. We're here to make you guys feel welcome. We want you guys to have those memories forever.
Yeah.
And they're like, my wife's like, why are you so friendly with people? I'm like, listen. we have to be friendly because these people they have careers and they have other things that they can help you. And I
Yeah,
had a parent who was like they have they haven't gotten married yet. They're like, hey, we want you to be our photographer in Santo Domingo. I'm like, wait a second, I thought you guys were married. No, they're like, no, we've been together, but you did so awesome with our daughter. We want you to go fly out with us to Santo Domingo. And we want not just you, we want to take your whole family.
that's cool.
So I was like, it's an honor.
Yeah. No, absolutely. That's really neat. And I love, I was going to ask you, how do you make clients feel comfortable? And I think it's just you being you. That's just who you are. And it's funny because we started off and you were saying how you're kind of more introverted but I think really I think you're also very genuine and authentic. And I think that's
Try
comes
to.
across.
I'm a shy person. If you see some of my videos, and I post a lot of reels,
Hmm.
I wish I was more camera friendly. I have to practice. I think we all have to practice that. And
Sure.
sometimes my thoughts, like when I'm speaking, I'm like, "La, la, 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 la." I think we all have some ADHD in
Oh,
us.
100%. 100%. Well, Edwin, hey, it has been an absolute pleasure chatting with you today. I appreciate all the time that you've given me this, morning and just to be able to talk. And for me, these are always so rewarding. Just an opportunity to get to know people a little bit better. And I hope someday that I get to fly out to Tampa and get a tour of the fire station as well
Oh
as
yeah.
go help you on a shoot because it would be an absolute honor. And likewise, if you ever make it out to Arizona, you hit me up.
Thank you, Trevor. I appreciate you having me on here, and I appreciate everything you do for the MagMod community.
Yeah, no, absolutely, guys. The one thing I will tell you that stood out to me the most about Edwin, and the reason that he's one of our MagMod ambassadors, and here on the show and everything else, is because Edwin, you were constantly just sharing in the community and on Instagram and creating reels and just all this stuff that I just was like, not only is he an amazing photographer, but he's just passionate about helping people, and so. I hope people see that as an example. I hope they go follow you and go check out more of your reels and see just like if you want to make a difference in the industry, do what Edwin's doing. So
Thank you, Trevor. I appreciate it.
yeah,
And you guys can do it, guys.
absolutely. Appreciate you. Hey, thank you, Edwin. Thank you, everyone, for watching. And of course, if you haven't subscribed already to the MagMod channel, be sure to do it. We got lots of great videos. And stay tuned, everyone. And Edwin, thank you so much for joining us. Thanks for sharing those photos. Really, really appreciate you.
Thank you, Trevor.
All right. Take care, everyone. Bye bye.